My friends, our region will continue to suffer until the world helps lift the shadow of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the central issue in the Middle East. No architecture for regional security and development can stand over the burning ashes of this conflict. But 7.5 decades on, it still smolders. Where are we going? Without clarity on where Palestinians' future lies, it will be impossible to converge on a political solution to this conflict.
If you see me in the streets, better holler at me. Seeking for a beat, throw them dollars at me. I don't like defeat, take that away from me. You tryna be like me, you couldn't handle my story. But we gon' let you know, we gon' let you know. We gon' let you know, we gon' let you know.
An address by His Majesty King Abdullah II ibn al-Hussein II, King of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing, man? It's your boy Mr. J. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to yet another episode of Mr. J's Reaction. And if this is your first time coming through, man, they call me Jay, and I'm a Motherlandian, and I live in the diaspora. And for the past couple of days, man, I've been dropping vlogs every day to shed light on the discriminatory nature that the West and the world, global politicians have been towards my continent. And in that same light, the plight of Africa is the plight of any third world country. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do react on various politicians' speeches and various topics that has been affecting the continent and the global economy in general. Now, if this is your first time knowing me, man, I would like to plead with you to support the channel. Do hit that like button, smash that like, and for as much as little as $0, you can be part of my channel. You feel me? Subscribe, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of days ago, the United Nations had its General Assembly, the 78th session, and in spite of everything that has been going on around the world, with everything that has been going on around the world, it is interesting to see that we start listening to some of these politicians make their speech. Now, if you don't know what the General Assembly is, every year in September, man, leaders around the world, man, they converge in New York at the headquarters of the United Nations, and they talk and they give speeches. It's rather unfortunate that for all these years, man, 70 plus years, man, a whole lot has not changed, because we see a particular faction using the United Nations for their own benefits. But that's not our point. So I'm going to drop a reaction. This reaction is about the King of Jordan. He gave his own speech. I want us to take a look at this speech. I want us to discuss, and I want everybody to chime in and leave your comment, man. Feel free, positive or negative. We are going to talk about it. So let's not talk too much, man. Let's get started, man.
I request protocol to escort His Majesty.
Oh, that's the 78th president for this session. You feel me? I think it's from Trinidad and Trinidad, I think so, Tobago. His Majesty.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome His Majesty King Abdullah II ibn al-Hussein, King of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
King of the Hashemite Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, can anybody tell me why there's still a whole lot of noise going on? Like, the disrespect, though, that's a king. If Biden was talking, is that how the noise is going to be? Or we going to check out his own speech? You feel me? Let's go.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Mr. President, Secretary General, Excellencies, when human catastrophes seem beyond description,
I don't know why, for some reason, I thought he was going to speak in Arabic, but I guess English is the, global language. But my man looks well kept. Jordan, Kingdom of Jordan. I've never been there before, though.
Human catastrophes seem beyond description. we turn to the appalling statistics. This year around the world, more than 345 million people face food insecurity.
When human tragedy are beyond prescription, we turn to the statistics. Like the world is just going astray, man. It's like everything is just happening. And we got to get down to the basic. We got to look at the statistics. What is causing these things so that we know how to handle it. We have to look at why these things are happening. If you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're heading to. Smart case.
This year around the world, more than 345 million people face food insecurity, daily hunger, or starvation.
That's crazy.
Among the most vulnerable are 108 million refugees, people who have been forcibly displaced from their homes and ways of life.
This is crazy. The statistics is crazy. But for a king to come out and he points out the global crisis and the catastrophes and then refugees, you know that this is a man who has a heart for humanity. You feel me? We know that so many people don't, some leaders don't care, they care less.
And 40% of these refugees are children, the most defenseless of all.
100+ million people are refugees. 40% of 100+ million people, children, born in, how can I say it? Because when you are born as a child of a refugee, you are stateless. You don't even know.
Yet these numbers cannot really convey the tragedy or the failure. Refugees are our brothers, our sisters. They look to our countries to help end the crises that have driven them from home.
Facts. I wish the West could see these things, man. Refugees are looking up to you leaders to end the crisis. So you see people dying in the Mediterranean trying to leave Africa and go to Europe. Whereas resources from Africa are being used to grow economies in Europe. And these European leaders, they are using cosmetic solutions that are not there to fix that thing for a long time. So that's, man, I like this king already, man.
They look to our countries to help end the crises that have driven them from home. Refugees are mothers, fathers, grandparents who have made perilous journeys to save their families.
That's his delegation, right? Anybody can be a refugee. Let me just say this, man. Anybody can be a refugee. Refugee has there's no particular group of people in society that are, anybody can be a refugee tomorrow.
There are young people with big dreams.
Facts.
And little children who deserve the chance to dream big. They depend on the international community for their survival. And
the international community has let refugees down a whole lot. Yes, when people look up to you for solution, but then you don't come through, that's the problem. Like little things, it's not just war that would drive people out of their countries, man. Hunger will drive people out of their countries. A lack of access to good health will drive people out of their community. Lack of good infrastructures will drive people out of their countries. So refugees, any person could be a refugee, you feel me?
On the international community for their survival. And multiple UN agencies provide vital services to help meet the need.
Do they now?
But in recent months, one by one, these agencies have been delivering difficult news. A severe shortfall in international funds has forced them to cut support.
Why? These agencies that are supposed to help the refugee crisis globally, they are not funded. Guess what is being funded in the billions and billions and billions? Yes, the war in Ukraine to weaken Russia, which has, by the way, failed. They thought it was gonna go for a week. We are a year plus in. Why? Why though? Why is there a misplacement of priorities? But nobody's being held accountable. We gotta hold these folks accountable. We do.
Is this what we've come to? Is the international community going to watch as refugee families find themselves forced to send their children to work instead of school?
They care less. Your Majesty, they care less. That's actually what it's come down to. They don't give a damn as long as it's not in your backyard, you know? As long as a wealthy person in the U.S. doesn't see that, it's crazy.
In Jordan, where refugees make up over 1/3 of our 11 million population, cuts have already thrown the lives of hundreds of thousands of refugees into uncertainty. The impact of such humanitarian shortfalls is never limited to a country or a region.
True.
Fear and want bring on sharp increases in the number of refugees fleeing to Europe and beyond.
Fear and want, like you said, greener pastures, good health, good infrastructure, good education, good governance. It's not just for a block alone, because some of these refugee migratory routes occur longer, far away from our shores. Like you see people leaving Africa, Central Africa to go to Europe, and that issue is coming from Europe. You feel me?
On journeys that too often end in tragedy.
Mediterranean desert.
My friends, Jordanians are serious about our duty to those in need.
Inshallah.
We have done everything we can to secure a dignified life for refugees.
It's a good king, man. It's a good king. Is it mixed though? People from Jordan, man, come through. Leave Mr. J a comment. He looks like, he's not a native of that. I don't know what native of Jordan has to be. Hashemite kingdom, but he looks European. He's one of his parents. I don't know.
Nearly half of the almost 1.4 million Syrians we host are under 18 years of age.
That's crazy.
For many of them, Jordan is the only place they have ever known. Over 230,000 Syrian children have been born in Jordan since 2011.
Now, as a child being born on where your parents flee your country as refugees, man, what do you think that generation is going to become? It's like that's a lost generation, because nobody's going to have that roots, man. It's crazy.
We are sharing precious resources to help them meet basic needs: food, energy, and especially water. We are among the water poorest countries in the world.
Oh, really?
Even as our water supplies face extraordinary demand. And we face these pressures just when another crisis has hit our region.
Which is?
Climate change, with its destructive heat waves, drought, and flooding.
Climate change, Jordan, you have countries that are sending out carbon prints like way above the normal, and they're not paying up, and then countries like these suffer, man. It's crazy.
And to meet the refugee burden, we have been carefully managing to combine our limited resources with essential support from the international community. Because the responsibility to act falls on everybody's shoulders.
True.
Because the world cannot afford to walk away and leave a lost generation behind.
I just talked about a lost generation. Kids born as parents in refugee in different countries. That's practically a lost generation, because some of them will grow not really understanding where they came from, their father's land, This is crazy.
But today, Jordan's capacity to deliver necessary services to refugees has surpassed our limits. Syrian refugees' future is in their country, not in host countries.
True.
But until they are able
to go back,
to return
safely,
we must all do right by them.
And how do you do that? Western powers, you need to start clamping down on some of these poor governances. But it's rather unfortunate that in third world countries like Africa, some of these despots, some of these dictators, some of these bad presidents, leaders, are actually being backed by these Western powers who use them to pilfer, to take resources. See, that's what he's saying. This is a very smart king, man, Your Excellency.
And the fact is, refugees are far from returning. On the contrary, more Syrians are likely to leave their country as the crisis persists. And Jordan will not have the ability nor the resources to host and care for more.
It's crazy.
We must find a political solution consistent with UN Security Council Resolution 2254,
which
the
is
step-for-step approach that offers a path forward, proposed by Jordan as the basis for engagement with the Syrian government and coordinated with the UN.
Why do you have to put the Syrian delegation on spotlight like this? This man he's talking, he's saying what everybody has been crying and saying for the past couple of years, but it's rather unfortunate, like some of these countries who think that they are top of the world, they could care less. See where their priority is? Billions and billions going to a war effort to weaken somebody they've hated since the Soviet Union era?
This approach sets a roadmap to incrementally resolve the crisis and deal with all its consequences. Until then, we will protect our country against any future threats the crisis could pose to our national security. My friends, Jordan's case is a microcosm of our entire region.
True.
For all our people's immense potential, repeated crises have held back the promise of greater development and prosperity. Our region is a focal point where some of the most urgent global challenges are converging.
Really?
How will our world respond? Will we come together in global solidarity to get to the root of the problem?
That's something that has been difficult to do, Your Majesty, because if it's about coming together for things that actually have nothing to do with loving and caring for humanity, or they will come together and churn out their money. But if it's something to do with humanity, just because it's not of their same race, the same color as these people, they really could care less. But that is the question. Is the United Nation a toothless bulldog like the League of Nations? It's turning out to be so.
Crises that destroy life and hope. Will we work as one to rebuild the lost trust in international action and help those in want?
It might be too late already, because people have lost trust in the West and its allies. That's why they are turning towards BRICS. Try something new. And from the way it's going with the money and the low interest rate that the BRICS is giving, I doubt if there's going to be an agreement. My friends, our region will continue to suffer until the world helps lift the shadow of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Good.
The central issue in the Middle East. No architecture for regional security and development can stand over the burning ashes of this conflict.
It's crazy, man.
But 7.5 decades on, it still smolders. Where are we going?
Nowhere. Like in the Middle East, one of the craziest crises that has been going on is that of the Palestinian and the Israel situation. From the moment that state was, Israel was proclaimed a state, it's been enmities, man. It's been like fight. It's crazy, man. This is a sensitive issue that the king is talking about.
Without clarity on where Palestinians' future lies, it will be impossible to converge on a political solution to this conflict.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And it looks like, of course, the West is supporting. See, some Western countries, politicians have started speaking the truth about this whole Palestinian and Israel situation, but not all of them are coming out to castigate it and condemn this. And until people start doing that, it's not going to change, unfortunately.
5 million Palestinians live under occupation. No civil rights, no freedoms of mobility, no say in their lives.
That's crazy,
Yet
man.
every UN resolution since the beginning of this conflict recognizes the equal rights of the Palestinian people to a future of peace, dignity, and hope.
It has failed, man. From the moment that this thing started, all the resolution has failed because they always take sides and nobody's there to say, oh, you are wrong. Do you know when the situation of apartheid was happening in South Africa, the Nelson Mandela days? That is the same thing that is happening to Palestinians, man. Let me tell you, the sooner the world comes down as one and start targeting and solving these crises, man, World War III is around the corner. Seriously.
This is the heart of the two-state solution, the only path to a comprehensive, lasting peace.
Two-state solution.
We can see the Israeli people actively defending and engaging in the expression of their national identity.
True.
Yet the Palestinian people are deprived of that same right to express and fulfill their own national identity.
That's apartheid right there. What the king is saying is apartheid. Why do you think that you have the right to defend your identity and then the Palestinians don't have that right? Man, we need to come down as one, and humanity is going to end, trust me.
The basic requirement for that right is the establishment of their own independent and viable state on the June 4th, 1967 lines with East Jerusalem as its capital, living alongside Israel in peace, security, and prosperity.
That's difficult, man. It's been seven decades and a half. Bro, 70 plus years. And it is still this?
And delaying justice and peace has brought endless cycles of violence.
True, killing.
2023 has been the deadliest for the Palestinian people in the past 15 years. How can people trust in global justice while settlement building, land confiscations, and home demolitions continue?
I don't know, Your Majesty. I really don't know, because the Palestinian and Israel situation is, I don't know if like the world doesn't want to solve it, or I don't know if the world is scared. And now we have the situation where people are not being allowed to express themselves. That is,
where is the global solidarity to make UN resolutions believable?
It doesn't
by
exist.
People in need of our help.
It doesn't exist.
Jerusalem is a flashpoint for global concern. Under the Hashemite custodianship of Islamic and Christian holy sites, Jordan remains committed to safeguarding the city's identity, but preserving Jerusalem as the city of faith and peace for Islam, Christianity, and Judaism is a responsibility that we all share.
Isn't it ironical that Jerusalem from the Bible days, it's the center of all of these conflict, man, apartheid tendencies, man, hate, discrimination, killings, miming, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. That's why you have to be smart.
And we must not abandon Palestinian refugees to the forces of despair. Sustainable funding is urgently needed by UNRWA, the UN agency that provides vital relief, education, and health services to millions of Palestinian refugees.
Seems like the world forgot about these people, man. It's all noise that they keep making, noise, but then they taking sides. It's
And this is essential to protect families, keep communities stable, and prepare young people for productive lives.
True.
We must protect young Palestinians from extremists
True.
who prey on their frustrations and hopelessness by making sure they continue to learn at the schools under the blue flag of the United Nations, as the alternative will be the black flags of terror, hate, and extremism.
This man is a wise king, man. I'm not even gonna lie. He is so intelligent, so smart, and a good politician, man. And his English is perfect.
My friends, we come together here as partners to deal with our challenges and shape a better future. We speak here for our people.
True.
We speak for families and the younger generations.
Humanity.
We speak for victims of conflict, displacement, hunger, climate challenge, disasters, and more.
But speaking is not just the end, bro. This is my thing with the United Nations. I think United Nations has failed humanity because of this constant speaking, and little action. They talk and then, they accomplish 15%. What is happening? Like, you're supposed to accomplish at least, if there's a failure rate, 85 upwards, not 15%. This crazy.
They are not mere statistics.
It's crazy.
They are our fellow human beings sharing our world. Only by restoring trust, only by acting in solidarity, will we create the future all our peoples desire and deserve.
Solidarity. Everybody is one. Humanity. Because if a war breaks out, the whole of humanity suffers. And the way it is, bro, the global south is already waking up. BRICS is already, and BRICS will dominate. Matter of fact, BRICS is dominating already.
We cannot allow for a lost generation on our watch. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the King of Jordan, man. Very smart, very intellectually spoken. And you can see this speech, humanity, he's crying for humanity. He's crying for global climate change. And he's crying for equality, man. People are the same, no discrimination. I want you to leave a comment and let me know exactly what you think about this speech by the King of Jordan. And my heart goes out to all the refugees around the world, you feel me? Don't forget to give us that like button and leave your comment. I'm out of here. God bless.
Creation, reaction, God. Big up TRB family. Mr. J, I see you. I know some artists don't do this. God bless you and your family.